stuff for our horses. You see here we have multiple saddles and saddle pads, and so today I'm going to be saddling my horse Jet. So I need this blanket and I need this saddle. When catching a horse, you need to let them know that you're there so that they don't get spooked. Once you do get close enough to them to catch them, you can put a rope around their neck to make sure that they can't get away from you before you can get the halter around their face. When saddling a horse, the materials that you will need are a blanket, a saddle, and a horse. I'm going to show you how to saddle a horse, and this here is the blanket, and you put it on their back first underneath the saddle, because if you look here, if we just put this on them, it would rub on their back and be uncomfortable and it would fall off, and that's no fun when you fall off. So that's the purpose of this. So when you walk up to a horse, you want to let them know they're there, you're there, so they're not scared. Pet on, kind of calm them down, and you're just going to take the blanket and set it on top of their back, and there's a lump in their back called the withers, and that's where you want this spot of the blanket to go on. So you kind of know where the blanket needs to go. And then this is the saddle, which is the part that you ride in. And if you look at it, when you sit in it, your butt goes here. And then when you're riding, you would like grab onto the horn for balance and stuff. And here is the stirrups, and you put your feet in there, again, pretty much just for balance, just because you don't want to fall off. Go this way. Okay, buddy, hold that. And again, just want to let the horse know you're here. This is my trusty speed Jet, by the way. I suppose I didn't introduce him. He's being kind of naughty because it's feeding time, and I took him away from me to say, "Oh, buddy." So once you get the saddle in position, I actually need to go to the other side. So I'm going to turn him, so if you want to come here. Oh, Jet. Oh, buddy. See, he knows. And then the next part is something called the cinch, and this is what helps keep the saddle on. So you grab it from underneath of them, and you take this leather piece, and you're going to stick it through that loop, and then you go back up here, and you stick it through this loop, and then you go back through this loop again, hi Jet, this loop again, and then this loop, and you would just keep going until it was tight enough so you know it's not going to fall off, because when you get on the horse, I would stick my left foot in that stirrup, grab the horn and the mane, and pull myself over. So obviously there's going to be some pressure on the saddle. You don't want it to fall off when you get on, so make sure that this is nice and tight. Now, one of the last steps that I always do when I'm saddling my horses is I untie him and walk him around, because when he's standing here, he's more relaxed, so he could be pushing his stomach out full of air. And then once you start walking him, his stomach could go up, which would make that looser, and it could make it unsafe. So you'll just walk him around like this. Make sure that he gets nice and loosened up, and then I would stop. Oh, if you want to back up. And then you just check the saddle, and if it's too loose, tighten it up some more, and then you put a bridle on, and you're ready to ride.